If you think a castle cook is just a man who stirs soup, you've never seen how power kills people without ever touching them. In this castle, the kitchen isn't a workplace. It's a courtroom. And Gareth the cook, with the oversized white hat and the bruise on his cheek, is already guilty, not because he did anything, because he's the kind of person they can blame. He doesn't wear silk. He doesn't have a family crest. He doesn't have a guard behind him. He has a ladle, a cracked spoon, a cheap apron, and a hunger that never fully goes away. Every morning starts the same torchlight, stone walls, steam, noise, and one rule carved into Gareth's nervous system. If someone important gets sick, the cook dies in the story first. Maybe not in blood, but in reputation, in shame, in date, in investigation, in a chain that drags you down so quietly you don't realize you're drowning. Gareth stirs a bowl of soup. The steam rises in pale green curls, not poison, not proof, just heat. But in this place, steam is enough to start rumors, and rumors are deadlier than knives. He hears the banquet bell. That bell doesn't mean dinner. It means judgment. Because at the end of that corridor is a table where nobles eat like gods, and where servants watch like wolves. And Gareth knows the truth. In a castle, everyone wants power, and power loves one thing more than loyalty: a scapegoat. Gareth's hands shake as he reaches for spices. A jar with a cracked wax cap. 2 jars that look almost identical. He hates that. He hates anything that can be mistaken. Because in the kitchen, a mistake isn't an accident. It's an excuse. He measures carefully. He tastes carefully. He wipes every surface like cleanliness can protect him. But it doesn't. Because the real danger isn't bacteria. It's politics. A steward appears cold posture, sharper eyes. The steward doesn't ask how Gareth is doing. The steward doesn't care if Gareth is tired. The steward points at the pot, at the tray, at the clock, and the message is clear. Move faster, make it perfect. And if anything goes wrong, you're not just fired, you're ruined. Gareth's apron pocket is empty, not a joke, not an image. Empty means powerless. Empty means they can charge you for everything. A broken dish fee, a late service fee, a waste fee, a quality fee. In castles, wages don't lift you out of poverty. Wages trap you inside it. Because they don't pay you to live. They pay you to owe. Gareth covers the soup bowl with a lid, like he's sealing a secret. He carries it on a tray down the torchlit corridor. Shoulders tight, eyes scanning arches. He feels watched. Not like someone is staring, like someone is waiting. In the banquet hall, the light is bright. Candles, gold, noise. And Gareth, muddy-brained from stress, looks like a stain in the middle of luxury. A royal food taster steps forward with a smug posture, spoon-poised. This is the safety ritual. But everyone knows the real purpose. It's theater. It's control. It's a reminder that a servant's body is disposable and a noble's comfort is sacred. The spoon dips, the hall quiets. Gareth's throat tightens so hard, it hurts to breathe. The taster pauses just long enough to let fear bloom. And then the worst part happens. They don't just taste the soup. They look at Gareth as if his face is the ingredient, as if his poverty is the flavor. A steward gestures. Now Gareth must taste it too, to prove it's safe, to show trust. But it's not trust, it's humiliation. Gareth sips the soup in front of everyone. The room watches like they want him to flinch, like they want to see him suffer. He doesn't collapse. He doesn't choke. He's fine. And yet the looks don't soften. Because in this castle, innocence isn't a shield. It's irrelevant. They were never afraid of poison. They were hungry for blame. Gareth is escorted back through the corridor. not violently, quietly, like a package, like a problem. Back in the kitchen, the ledger hits the table, a heavy book. A heavier message.
Believe
the steward scratches marks into it without emotion. Those marks aren't records, they're chains. Each mark means a deduction. Each deduction means Garrett eats less. Each day means more debt. And date is how they keep you obedient. Garrett opens the pantry. It's almost empty. Of course it is. The kitchen is expected to feed the castle, while the cook is expected to survive on scraps. Gareth measures spice again. His hands shake. Then someone brushes past him. A servant silhouette. A bomb. A jar tips. Spice scatters. It's small. It's nothing. But in a castle kitchen, nothing is harmless. Because one spilled jar becomes careless cook, wasteful cook, suspicious cook. Gareth scrapes spice off the table, like he is trying to scrape away a future accusation. Then he notices the shelf. 2 nearly identical jars, labels torn, wax caps similar. Gareth hesitates, and that hesitation is dangerous. Because the kitchen doesn't punish the wrong ingredient. It punishes the wrong person. He forces calm, sniffs one jar. A sharp edge in the smell. Not proof, just a warning. He doesn't trust it. He tries to isolate it, hide it, control it. But the castle doesn't let servants control anything. A massive cauldron boils. Steam rises. Time runs. The steward returns, demanding speed again. Garrett plates bowl after bowl. Then he sees it. One bowl looks slightly different. A shade off. Just enough to plant doubt. His blood turns cold. He tries to swap it out. He tries to stop it, but the tray is snatched away before he can check. And Garrett understands the game. Even if you do everything right, someone can still decide you did it wrong. He runs after the tray through the corridor. He reaches the hall as the taster dips the spoon again. The pose again. The eyes on Garrett again. The point of the finger again. And Garrett is forced to taste again. He survives again. And the crowd still looks disgusted again. Because the ritual isn't about safety. It's about reminding everyone who holds power. Then Gareth sees something, a tiny movement behind the pillar. The servant, the same silhouette. A subtle swap. A bow slide in positions like a card trick. And in Gareth's mind, something snaps into focus. It wasn't a mistake, it was staged. Gareth isn't failing. He's being set up. Back in the kitchen, Gareth returns to the shelf. The jars, the torn labels. He starts treating the pantry like a crime scene. He lines jars up. He makes tiny scratch marks on lids silent. Invisible evidence. He doesn't speak. Because in castles, accusations without proof get you buried. He hides the wrong jar, locks it away, tries to create control. But when the steward appears again, the ledger comes out again. More deductions, more blame. A gloved hand takes Garrett's lost coin like it belongs to the castle. And that's the poverty trap. In one clean motion, you work, you owe. They take, you work.
What have you got hidden in there?
You owe
Show
more.
me the pouch now.
And if you complain,
Wait,
they call
I
you
haven't
ungrateful.
taken anything.
Garrett returns to the soup station under watchful eyes. He stirs again. He feels someone behind him, but when he turns, there is only steam. He hears footsteps, whispers, a jar clink. He looks to the flour bin, the place where he hid the jar.
More
the lid is
deductions.
slightly open. Gareth runs. He opens it. Flour dust swirls. The jar is gone. Just gone. Then he sees it. Back on the shelf. Placed innocently among safe spices like it never left. That's not clumsiness. That's a message. We can reach anything you hide. Gareth quietly swaps the jar with a harmless one. Not to win. To survive, he hides a control bowl, a clean sample, a backup, evidence. And now the story tightens. A new tray is demanded. Gareth hands it off and follows at a distance, using pillars like cover. Because when you're trapped, you stop living like a man. You start living like a witness. He watches the hall, he watches hands, and then he sees it. A tiny pinch from a sleeve pouch, slipped into one bowl. So small the crowd can't see. But Gareth sees, and he understands the real horror. The poison panic isn't an accident. It's a tool. If nobles believe there's poison, they tighten control. They punish servants. They raise security. And someone profits from fear. Gareth's eyes widen. He runs not away from blame, toward proof. He sprints back to grab the control bowl. Returns to the hall. Guards block him. For a moment, it looks like proof will kill him faster than silence. In this castle, showing evidence can be treated like rebellion. Gareth gestures compare the bowls. He holds his control bowl up like a lifeline.
I didn't do
Two
it,
bowls
please.
are placed
I swear
side
I
by
didn't do
side
it.
under candlelight.
Look at him, he's
One
crying
normal,
already.
one
They are taking
subtly
him
off.
to the dungeon.
He points to the
Wait,
servant's
sir,
sleeve
look at the
pouch.
proof. It
Silver
matters
steps
not.
back.
You
The
owe the
taster watches
castle.
calmly, not surprised, like it was expected. And Gareth realizes something even darker. This isn't one traitor, it's a system. A machine that produces fear and blame on demand. The servant is escorted away, not dramatically, quietly. And you think Gareth wins. But the steward returns with the ledger anyway. More scratches, more deductions. Because proof doesn't erase poverty. Proof doesn't erase hierarchy. Proof only changes what they say out loud. Gareth is forced to sign a death mark. Just a symbol. No words needed. A symbol is enough to trap a man. And now we hit the final twist. Gareth didn't escape the frame. He just proved he's useful. If you can stop a poison scare, you become valuable. And valuable servants don't get promoted. They get owned. Because now the castle knows
I didn't do it,
Gareth
please.
can see
I
patterns.
swear I didn't do
and
it.
the castle
Look
will
at
keep
him,
him
he's
close.
crying already.
Not to reward
They are
him.
taking him to the
watch
dungeon.
him. Back
Wait,
in the
sir,
kitchen.
look at the proof.
Gareth
It
stands
matters
alone
not.
by the cauldron.
You owe the
Steam
castle.
rises like a living threat. He hides a small pouch of safe spices on his body insurance. He scans every shadow. Because the lesson is burned into him now. In a castle kitchen, you don't get betrayed once. You get tested forever. The jars sit on the shelf. One lid slightly misaligned. A quiet hint that the game continues. The banquet bell rings again in the distance. Gareth looks toward the hall door. Jaw tight, hands steady finally. Not because he feels safe, because he understands the rule that keeps you alive in places like this. Trust no one. Measure everything. Assume the trap is already set. Final image. Gareth grips the ladle. Steam curls upward. The castle is silent for half a second. And in that silence, you can feel the truth. The job nobody wanted isn't cooking. It's surviving inside a system that turns fear into profit and turns poor people into disposable explanations. So if you were Gareth and you knew the next tray could be another trap, would you keep cooking or would you run knowing the castle will call you guilty? Either way,